Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. What is going on, guys? Yeah. So I'm whispering a little bit. We have a couple of deer hanging around, and I'm trying not to scare them off. I mean, it was literally right in the backyard. You can still see them out there. What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a great day. TJ Jackson, what's good, my friend? How are you? I need to see if I can turn on some lights out here. It's a little dark. Purple Kush is in the building. What's up, Purple Kush? Blockchain monkeys. Blockchain monkeys. What? Did you guys catch that? Did you catch his latest drop? Did you guys catch his latest drop? Wow. It was really good. Really good. You guys catch that? Hope you guys can hear me good. This the lighting is not all that great. I may have to turn the light on a little bit. Can you guys see me okay? I'm definitely outdoors. Had some visitors. A little baby buck. Little baby buck out there. Everybody's good. Happy Wednesday to you. Generational Wealth Wednesday. You know, it's so funny. Did you see the XRP Rich List accumulation? Purple Kush? I've seen the Rich List before. I saw something on Twitter for a quick second that something about accumulation, something about people were, I guess, at the top wallets were buying, and that's been the case for a while, right? Those top lists keep buying. Love your video. Thank you, TV Lee. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. I'm outdoors. Maybe I need to go inside because the lighting is not all that great. It's way up. Yeah. I bet it is. I'm gonna have to check my status on that Rich List and see what's going on. What is it? Rich Stats List? Is it XRP Rich Stat List? What's it called? What's the name of the site? I'm gonna have to go check that out. You guys remember? They're in there. H is here. What's going on, my friend? It's way up. Yeah. Cookie Mutt. What's going on, Cookie Mutt? Good to see you. So, guys, I got to tell you, I was going to talk a little bit about Alex Mashinsky and his AMA. Then I thought, man, that interview with Brad Garlinghouse, not interview, but the Ripple drop. There was some very, very telling things in that Ripple drop, I got to tell you. Had a great talk offline with Danny Loft. Had a really good talk with Danny the other day. Great talk. Really smart guy. Really sharp. It's like Ledger Exposed. Is that the site? Is it called Ledger Exposed? I think you're right. Let me see something. Yeah, you might be right about that, Cookie Mutt. Let me see something. LEDQ. That is it. Yeah, that is it. $39.12 billion. Whoa. 35 billion. Wow, it is going crazy. Whoa. It is really going crazy. I'm going to have to share that with you guys. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Okay, I didn't even know that. Let me get back to where is it? There it is. Yeah, it's you have to ask yourself, why is that? Like, why is that? The top is going absolutely crazy. Let me share the screen. Let's talk about that a little bit. I just think it's really, really interesting. It don't take a whole lot to get in the top 1%. It really doesn't take that much to get in the top 1%. I was going to ask you guys, how much are you going to diversify? Are you going to diversify in the other digital assets? Are we diversified both inside and outside of the digital asset space? Reason being, I was listening to Alex Mashinsky, and he was talking about, you know, if you have all your wealth in fiat dollars and they're printing fiat dollars at just a crazy pace, then that means your dollars is becoming worth less and less and less and less. And the digital dollar has to be the answer to help, to help get back some of that steam that it's losing with all this printing. But he was saying, how much percentage of your overall wealth are you going to have in fiat dollars, and how much you're going to have in digital assets? And he was talking about 10% in gold. And he said for him, it was gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. For him, these are 1% of 1%. So, Darcy B, what's going on, my friend? What's good, bro? 35 billion. I'm a bit interested. 35 billion. Some people know some things, right? Crypto Delivery's in the building. What's going on, Crypto Delivery? Pay me money, baggers. Yeah, good vibes, without question. Yeah, financial reset has to happen. It really does. It has to happen. What's going on, XRP Joe? Good to see you, my friend. Guys, Blockchain Monkeys. Did you catch that dude's latest drop? Talk about the Ripple drop. Did you catch Blockchain Monkeys' latest drop? Did you guys catch that? Man, that was, wow. So my thing for Generational Wealth Wednesday is, how much of your assets are you going to have in fiat dollars? I just, I don't know. Wow, I was thinking about it, and we're in a blessed spot that we have some options, right? We have some big time options. And by the way, don't sleep on Bank of America. That's all I can say. I was asked not to say or share. But don't sleep on Bank of America and the moves that they're looking to make. Don't sleep on Bank of America. It's not just about that patent with Ripple. One thing I can say, because it was shared, the deep dive from SPQR Media, I can share that. You definitely want to look at that again, if you can find it. There's a reason why Bank of America and Ripple have been so quiet. There's a reason that they've been so quiet about their partnership and this announcement, whatever that's going to look like. There's a way for you to check where you are on that stats list, isn't it? I forget how you check it. Let me see something. It's another site. I think you can put like your, you can put your either your address or the amount that you have. Where's the site where you can put the amount that you have and kind of figure out where you sit? I'm looking at here, man. Top 2% own 36,947 XRP. You're in the top 10% if you own 3,000 XRP. Wow. And the 0.01% owns 23 million XRP or more. Look at the chart is Let me share this with you guys. This chart is unbelievable. Yeah, I'm on that right now, Purple Chris. Let me share this. My freaking browser just crashed. I think 35 billion did it. It just went dead on me. Hold on, let me see. Let me. You're trying to play my intro and everything. Let me get rid of some of these things. Maybe this is it. Let me try and share this. Welcome back, Siege. What's up, Biggie? Did you guys catch Blockchain Monkey's latest drop? You guys got to catch that. I'm glad you guys all came back. You got to catch that. You know, right? Crypto Keeper, that was a crash. Did you guys check out Blockchain's Monkey? I played that thing for 45 minutes straight, maybe even an hour straight. Just listening to that joint. That was really, really good. What's going on, XRP Gal? Good to see you, miss. If I have to go indoors, I will, but it says I got good signal here. But I got to tell you that thing is looking good. Am I good now? Everything good? No buffering now, hopefully. Hey, Catherine, how are you, miss? Good to see you. Intro is fire. Thank you, Crypto Delivery. I appreciate that. Speaking of fire, speaking of straight fire, that Blockchain Monkeys thing was really outstanding. So I don't know, when it comes to fiat dollars and digital assets, I got to tell you, C's first T-shirt release went very well. I'm even more inspired now, my friend. Great. I'm glad to hear that, brother. Let me know how I can get one of those, TJ Jackson. Next release is Friday. Cool, cool, cool. I saw Carolina with a shirt on, I believe. Looked really good. So I had to, in one of my comments, I saw Blockchain Monkeys said, Siege, you got to check out my latest drop. I mentioned you in there or something like that, he said. So he commented on one of the videos. So I went to go check that out on SoundCloud. And that thing, I mean, nice production. It was really, really good. Yeah, so it was really, really good. So it was it's his music. Purple Kush is his music. It's his music. It was really, really good. I didn't know he had a little hip hop in him, apparently. It was really, really good. And unfortunately can't play it on the channel. I tried to play it on my phone. I'm like, I knew I was going to get a strike. But I'm like, man, I got to play this. This is so, so good. So I just, I shared it on my Instagram. Well, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You're going to have to hit me up on email, TJ Jackson. I can't click on links and stuff like that from StreamYard, unfortunately. Comedian Chuck Real is in the building. Make sure this is enough light so you guys can see me. So I feel better having my stuff in digital assets than I do in the traditional space. I really do. The dollar, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to think about this dollar anymore in the way they're printing money. But yeah, between listening to Alex Mashinsky yesterday and listening to Brad Garlinghouse this morning, did you guys catch how, how he just suddenly mentioned acquisitions and that Ripple drop? Did you guys catch that? He just kind of casually mentioned, we're in a position, to do this, do this. And, acquisitions is definitely on the table or something like that. Did you guys catch that? I mean, whoa. And thank you guys for all coming back. Did you guys catch that? It don't take much to get in the top percent of XRP hodlers, by the way. It really doesn't take much at all. According to that list, it's not much at all. Yeah. And at 18 cents, is it still at 18 cents? Anybody look up the things that I, oh, my email, TJ, let me give that to you, bro. This is my business email for the channel. I'm telling you, that Blockchain's Monkey tune was, man. Community members with quite the talent. With quite the talent, I'm telling you. Chris Lawson's video today was on the Ripple channel. No, I did not see that, Legendary. Good to see you in the stream, bro. It was on the Ripple channel, Chris Lawson video today, huh? I didn't see that. Maybe we should check that out together. I didn't see it. But again, interesting conversation with Danny Loft got me thinking about a lot of different things without question. And I get excited because the wins that we'll get here with a nice balanced, portfolio is going to give us so many other opportunities to do other things. Yes, I just mentioned. Let me share this, TJ Jackson. Oh, it's 6 minutes. That's not bad. I'm good for that. If you guys are good for listening to that, I'm good for sharing it. You said, yes, I just mentioned it. He said potential acquisitions in the coming months. Yeah. And it was so interesting about that, TJ Jackson, is the way he just kind of casually said it. He's just like kind of casual. And think about the acquisitions. Think about was it Algos or Logos? those two other acquisitions that they made, everyone was like, what? I think it was Logos. Trying to figure out what that was. And then turns out that they're doing a lot of things with the Pay ID. So what else they have in mind for acquisitions is going to be really, really interesting to see. But he said, we're going to build on our strengths, you're going to leverage our strengths like a great CEO would do. And he made no qualms about it, didn't hesitate, not keeping it a secret. This is what he's looking to do. I respect that big time. Big time. Yeah. I got to tell you, again, don't sleep on Bank of America and Ripple. The patent's one thing. Oh, man. That patent's one thing. I just got to tell you. Let me go to, you said Ripple on YouTube? Is that where it is, guys? Chris Larson's thing? Legendary. It's on Ripple's channel on YouTube. Darcy's like, put it on. Purple Kush, let's see it. Okay. Is it on YouTube? What's good, Gold XRP Steve? How you doing, brother? He stammers in a couple of questions. Oh, wow. I bet he's a terrible it's on YouTube, right? Let me go find it first. I mean, TJ Jackson, we're in a good spot. We're really in a good spot. I got to tell you, I feel great. Yeah, YouTube. Okay. Let me go get this. And then I will share. You guys notice the changing in their making a point to show their emblems as well? Have you guys noticed that? Why is it so hard to find Ripple's channel? Why is it so hard to find the Ripple's channel? Hold on, guys. I cannot find the channel. You'd think I would be subscribed to the Delgon channel. Let's see. Subscriptions. Manage. I am subscribed to a lot of channels. Hold on, guys. I'm on N. Hold on. Official Ripple channel? Is that it? Okay, there it is. There it is. Official Ripple channel. Did you guys notice that they've been making a point to share their symbol that identifies them as Ripple versus XRP? Have you guys noticed that? Like, I think they changed the their avatar on Twitter as well. Did you guys catch that? I think they did. Ripple has a channel. XRP Gal says yes. It's official Ripple on YouTube. Let's share the screen. Let's share some audio. It's 6 minutes, guys, but it looks like a little bit of an interview there kind of going on. Wall Street Journal, what?
About some interesting topics here for you. I am Paul Vigna. I'm a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. I've been covering Bitcoin and digital currencies since about 2013. I am joined today.
Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Tell everyone you said hello. Little Crypto C says, hey, let's see if this will work because I can't hear anything. Hopefully you guys can still hear.
Category, and I'd like to introduce Chris Larson from Ripple and Paul Vigna from the Wall Street Journal.
Welcome to this virtual fireside chat. There's no fires. There's actually not even two people next to a fire, but we're going to try to talk about some interesting topics here for you. I am Paul Vigna. I'm a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. I've been covering Bitcoin and digital currencies since about 2013. I am joined today by Chris Larson, who is the co-founder and executive chairman of Ripple. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here today. It's too bad we're not here in person, but nice to be here virtually with you.
Right, exactly. So let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about digital currencies, digital money, something that I think is, it's interesting to me, Chris, is that I think we're coming up right now. It's about a year since Facebook unveiled its proposed digital currency, Libra. And even though it hasn't launched yet, I think the fact that you had a company as big as Facebook jump into this space really changed a lot of people's perceptions, certainly in government and policymakers. And in the last year, I think you've probably seen this idea of digital money get more respect, and you would know this better than I would even. You've probably seen this idea get more respect than it had in the previous 10 some odd years since the launch of Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. That was a major milestone. I think with someone like Facebook coming on board into the space with really these global ideas. Now, obviously, it ran into quite a bit of headwinds, but I think it was a marker. And we're kind of it is a little bit of a new ball game, and I think a little bit of the response to that, frankly, was what you're seeing in China, with China now coming out with a central bank digital currency, and I know we can talk more about that if you like, but that's pretty major. So this is clearly global. I think sort of the early kind of feeling that, hey, this is going to change the world. Maybe some of the early propaganda that you heard from the true believers might not have come true. But I think, like many technologies, it takes many different attempts. It does take years, and particularly in a regulated industry like financial services. But I think all the promise is there, and you are seeing these real world implications that today are actually changing the experience of billions of people. And I think much more to come. I think we're just at the beginning innings, but that was definitely a milestone that's propelled it into kind of a whole new opportunity, a new direction.
So you talked about billions of people's habits being changed, but from your perspective, actually, you know what? Do a little bit of just tell us what your perspective is, how you got into this before we talk about some of those things you said you're seeing, because I think that'll be interesting. Well, what was this space like when you first got involved in it? Why did you want to get involved in it? What led you to this?
Well, I'd had two fintech companies before we started Ripple, eLoan and Prosper, and they were also during some boom times and crash times, and all typical technology, right? But one of the striking things about fintech before blockchain was it was always country by country, and that was kind of disappointing, right? I mean, the whole internet, the whole idea there is you're going to break down borders. Anybody anywhere can communicate, and that did happen. And fintech never quite got there. And the reason was, even though we had internet infrastructure, we didn't have sort of this notion of an internet for money, because value and information are just fundamentally different things. And the world needs an internet for money that's different than the internet of information. So I think the real thing that we saw was, the frustration we saw in moving eLoan from outside the US. You had to have a separate Japanese company that was not interoperable with the US one, separate one in Europe. The real promise here was, oh my God, this is an internet of value. In early days, you didn't know where that was going to go. And there was just, again, a lot of crazy talk. Clearly, they were going to blow up all the banks and, everybody's just going to hold money individually. That did not happen, obviously, and it's a good thing it didn't. But I think that everybody kind of gravitated to, okay, this is it. This is that final step in what the internet always said it was going to do, but for money. Those things on, and we always talk about, if you have an internet of information, if you have an internet of value, and you have kind of the ability to ship goods anywhere, well, we have that with shipping containers and global shipping. We have that with the internet. Once you complete the picture with an internet of value using blockchain and blockchain-like technologies and virtual currencies, that's globalization completed. And that is incredibly exciting. I would argue globalization is having all these problems because it's incomplete. It's a work in progress because we're missing this key ingredient. So that was the exciting part, and it remains the exciting part, and we're now seeing it. Ripple now, we have 300 financial institutions. We're an enterprise company. We think enterprise is the way you got to spread this the fastest. 300 financial institutions globally, covering 45 countries that can reach 1 billion people. That's today. 24 of those institutions now are using the virtual currency as well as the blockchain plumbing. And that's fairly new in the last couple of years. So virtual currencies are today being used to lower the costs and give greater access to hundreds of millions of people, certainly. And before too long, it's going to be billions and billions of people. And that's the true promise. That's really exciting.
Do you think, I want to talk about this a little bit, because one of the things that got me interested in this in the first place was this whole idea of rebuilding the financial system. Mm-hmm. Trying to come up with something more egalitarian, something that was more accessible to people. And I have to be honest, I think one of my disappointments, and I don't know if this is just a perception thing, honestly, one of my disappointments is that I don't think it's gone as far as I expected it would. And to be honest, I don't even know if it's fair to say what I expected in 2013. But what do you think is the state of digital money right now we're more than 10 years since Bitcoin was introduced. Do you think it's lived up to its potential? Do you think it's fallen short a little bit? Has it just been harder to create a new kind of money than anybody anticipated?
Those are great points, right? And I agree with you. The global financial system we have today is antiquated, right? It's SWIFT correspondent banking. That's how you move value cross-border. That's built in the 70s. Its days are numbered. It has to be replaced. So that was one of the things when Bitcoin came along was, okay, is that the thing? And again, is that the internet of value? And I think a couple of things, Bitcoin has its own idiosyncrasies that make that sort of difficult. One was, I think, the early boosters of it were true libertarians who believed you could go around the existing financial infrastructure. I think that was a mistake because it's the incumbents already have billions of people. It's too expensive. There's lack of access. There's too many errors. It's too slow. Yet, a lot of what they built works really fine. They just got to fix a couple of things. So it would have been better if the Bitcoin early people, I think, would have worked within the system. Bitcoin also has some other issues. It's a probabilistic settlement, right? Because miners can undo things theoretically, and it uses a lot of energy. But so I think also you're right. It's disappointing that Bitcoin kind of went into, hey, we're about store. Remember all that payment stuff we talked about? Well, we're about store value, right? Yeah, and that's kind of largely wealthy people, right? I mean, it's kind of cool and it's kind of digital gold, and I think that's a great use case for it. But it isn't the promise of billions of people coming online. You've got to work within the system to change the system. That's sort of the path that we've taken. And you also, by the way, they have to have a very efficient, not all of these digital assets are the same. Bitcoin uses a lot of energy that's costly. Someone's got to pay for that. It also is prone to be controlled, and frankly, it's controlled by miners in China. You have to say that it has undue influence by Chinese miners and therefore the government. We think things like XRP are going to be more neutral. They're going to be faster, cheaper, just because of the way it works, and that's what we've embraced, obviously. But you are really seeing some fascinating things. Ethereum protocol is seeing really interesting things. Decentralized finance. Who knows where that goes? But it's really interesting. Web monetization, that's taking off. That's the true idea of the internet. How do I exchange bits of information for bits of value? So I do see the promise stronger than ever, but you're right. Some of the early, hey, this is going to change everything in 2 years. No, that didn't happen. Things take time.
Yeah. So what has to happen from, we're in June 2020. What has to happen over the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever? I mean, what changes do you see taking place? Is it just going to be a natural evolution? Is there something, are you going to need an entity like the Federal Reserve stepping in? And we can talk about the Fed a little later, but what do you think is going to happen over the next several years? And or more than what you think, what do you think needs to happen?
Well, I think we need to work within the system, clearly. We do need to work with governments. Again, a big mistake early on was, we're just going to go around central banks. I mean, it's nonsense, right? So we've got to get the central banks involved. Frankly, they are, though. I mean, there's an incredible amount of engagement going on, whether it's in the UK or in Japan, Singapore, the Fed here in the US, certainly, Brazil. I mean, all around the world. India now is loosening up. We're seeing major changes there. So it is happening, but those things take time, right? And technology works on kind of one quick cycle that's very different from how governments and regulation work. So they're kind of a natural mismatch, but we've got to get those three things, tech, capital markets, and regulatory authorities working together. That's difficult, harder than the internet, in fact. So I think a lot of it is staying with it, working within the incumbents, but not keeping our eyes off the prize of access to all. One of the cool things that's happening with these new networks that involve blockchain, it's allowing digital wallets for the first time to really get on board. And they have a really hard time getting involved with SWIFT and correspondent banking, which blocks, you look at something like Bcash in Bangladesh, 35 million users growing incredibly fast. These are individuals that don't have bank accounts. So those wallets are the bank accounts, right? And I think in the US, we need to look at it a similar way. Millions and millions of people, there's a hearing just, on the June 11th about this, who don't have access to bank accounts. Could a central bank digital dollar help that? I think it's possible it could. Obviously, China now has moved very strongly into building out a central bank digital currency, a renminbi, as well as controlling mining and basically having almost all their payments digital domestically. Frankly, and we can talk about it as well, we're way behind China when it comes to blockchain technology. So, the companies need to just stay at it, blocking and tackling, working within the system, but that vision of free money moving around essentially for free. That's what the internet basically is for information. But the U.S. government also needs to get a lot more involved in blockchain. We're slow to the game. China is so far ahead of us. They just announced they're going to spend $1.4 trillion on technology. Payments and blockchain, clearly part of that strategy. You could even argue the move to control Hong Kong more closely gives them an advantage in controlling two of the global financial centers. U.S. only has one, right? So the U.S. has got to change its view that goes from 17 and 18, which was all about these horrible ICOs, initial coin offerings, which were terrible, had to be shut down. They effectively shut them down. We won that war. Now we got to switch to, okay, how do we compete with China? How do we keep up? And, till now, frankly, U.S. regulators have actually helped China by officially giving clarity to the two protocols effectively controlled by Chinese miners, Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's a mistake. We've got to also give clarity at least, and maybe even support, if this really becomes a tech cold war, like it's looking like it will be, to technologies that are more favorable to U.S. and its allies' stewardship of the next-gen global financial system. Otherwise, we face a potential catastrophe. I don't know what the odds are, but there's some meaningful, probability if China was to get control over the next gen financial system, I mean, that could really be devastating to American power and its allies' ability to make payments to defense payments to an ally. American banks that might be blocked or throttled back on how fast their payments go. You could even see some terrible situation where a U.S. company that has a low Chinese social credit score could be blocked from that new infrastructure. Those are bad outcomes. Even if there's a small percentage chance that happens, we've got to check that to make sure that we're involved and we're competitive as a country.
Yeah, again, it's interesting. You talk about what's happened over the last year since Facebook announced Libra, and you just kind of highlighted a bunch of them, right? China ramped up its development of its digital renminbi, and that is going to now be part of their policy arsenal. The U.S. government is, it's interesting. Right after Facebook launched Libra, there were some congressional hearings, and a lot of them were basically along the lines of, what is this and why is Facebook doing it? The hearing last week was really interesting. It was the House Financial, I wrote it down because I was going to forget it. It was the House Financial Services Committee?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I think that's right. If I'm wrong, everybody give me a break. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. But the hearing last week was two-pronged, and it was basically, can we use this technology to help get out some of these benefit checks from the pandemic relief bills? But it quickly kind of morphed into, well, maybe we should just be talking about a digital dollar. And look, I don't think we're close to having a digital dollar, but the fact that it's being talked about very seriously in Washington, I think shows how fast at least minds are changing. Mm-hmm. They may not be near doing it, certainly not as close as the Chinese. So I think you do have that sort of shift in mentality among governments, among lawmakers, not just in China and the US, but everywhere.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting, let's talk about this a little bit now, is so China's, they are much further along in getting a digital yuan launched and running and out there and everything. I think you have, up until recently, and Bitcoin kind of made this part, forced this issue. I don't think a lot of people really thought about what money was and how money was used. And I think now you have to start thinking about that. And you have to start thinking about, well, if the Chinese have a digital dollar and they are now going to be using that to help export the yuan, what are they really exporting? What is this system? This is when we talk about a Cold War of technology between the US and China. I mean, this isn't just a technological war. It's a values war.
Yeah. You're exactly right. I mean, the U.S. has had, and its allies have had this incredible privilege of basically having, the main stewardship. I don't know if you will control, but power. I mean, incredible advantage by not just the U.S. dollar, but effectively sort of stewardship over the global payment system, global financial system. Huge advantage. But that's benefited other people too, including China.
Right.
It's interesting. I mean, China could have made a decision at the dawn of the internet to say, nope, we don't have to be part of that. We're going to have our own internet. We'll have two of them. World would have split apart. That didn't happen because they saw it was in their interests, because of globalization benefited China to be part of the main system, even if the stewardship of it, was a great deal in the U.S. and its allies, the West. That's the same thing we face today. I would argue that it's not just important for the U.S. to maintain sort of stewardship of the next gen financial system. I'd actually argue it's better for everybody, including China. And I think if we play our cards right, like I know we're in this tech Cold War now, but that's going to pass 5-10 years, about who knows how long. But I think we can get to a place where China would be comfortable, and then the world is kind of organized in a single system again. And I bet that does involve blockchain technology, interoperability protocols, central bank digital currencies from all the major areas, with probably a virtual currency acting as the bridge, right? Because neutral, and it doesn't carry, to your point, it doesn't carry not only the capital controls and the various rules of, let's say, U.S. Treasury, for example, but also doesn't carry, and this is much less the case in the US, right? Because it's a liberal economy, right? It's exporting, hey, everybody's free to do what they want to do economically. It doesn't carry a lot of weight to other countries where, a virtual currency doesn't have any of that, right? Because there's no counterparty at all. So virtual currencies will be really key in that kind of a world. But again, imagine if, really bad if China says, hey, well, you're going to have your system, we'll have ours, bad for everybody. The world gets smaller, gets more dangerous. And really bad if China controls the infrastructure, because basically the Great Wall would be built into infrastructure. On the internet, it's an application under global infrastructure. That would not be so good for the rest of the world, particularly US, if that was built into the infrastructure. And I think, look, it's in China's interest. They're doing what they need to do for their objectives. I would bet a social credit score of some sort would be built into that global financial center. That'd be a really changed world. And we got to guard against that, I think. And that's good for China too, by the way, long term.
Yeah. It's funny because I could not imagine ever in my lifetime using me, sitting here in my house in America, using a digital yuan. I don't see that as the real threat when we talk about China in the digital yuan and them exporting it and having whatever leverage over an international monetary system. I do see them having a lot of leverage in Asia, right? I mean, they can coerce all their trading partners to start using it, all their neighboring countries to start using it. And that is, it's not a small area of the world. I mean, that is a huge part of the world. And through this yuan, they export Chinese values. You get people on your financial system, you get people under, nominally under your control, you exporting your own values. And it was last summer, right, where there was this blow up. The Houston Rockets GM talked that said something about supporting the Hong Kong protesters, and the Chinese were mad about it. And the Chinese, think about this, like the Chinese were able to get a US executive in the United States to backtrack on something he had said. That's the power that the Chinese have. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like exporting values and using the currency to export your own values. That's, to me, is a real concern.
I think you're exactly right, and that is in fact what's going on right now. There's kind of a race in this next gen financial system and other things too, other technologies. Obviously, tons of things going on today. But just speaking with payments and blockchain, the Belt and Road initiative. Part of that, to your point, is bringing on countries throughout Southeast Asia, and beyond, in Africa, certainly, perhaps Latin America. So you could see this outcome where there's sort of the US, Japan, India, the Middle East, anchored by Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and Europe, clearly UK, that sort of have one system, and then sort of China through Belt and Road and extension of that, and the developing nations having another one. Again, that's not a good outcome for the whole world, right? That's a very polarized world. So I think by the US keeping up and making sure it does have a central bank digital currency and experiment with it and see where it goes and kind of keep up on this sort of arms race of technology, that's a bet you have to make, right? Among other things. And also, how did we win the internet? We had some great companies, and the US came up with a very clear, simple, minimalist regulatory approach, and that's why we have these incredible companies pretty much dominating the internet as we know it today. That's incredibly powerful. We got to make sure we do that with next gen financial systems. We haven't really done that yet, and we got to start catching up.
Yeah. What would you tell policymakers that they need to do? I mean, how close are we realistically to digitizing the dollar? And then I have some questions about that. I don't have much. I know we only have a couple of minutes, but not only what would you tell them, but what are some of like the real hurdles that have to be overcome. Logistical hurdles. I mean, it's one thing to say, yeah, we should digitize the dollar. That's great. Let's do it. It's a lot harder in practice to actually get everybody on it. How would you, what do you see as some of the challenges there?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing right now is the U.S. has to give regulatory clarity to the industry, and particularly the industry in the U.S. You're seeing a situation now where sort of payments, blockchain startups are fleeing the U.S., or they're simply not even getting started here because of this problem. VCs aren't going to back you unless you got regulatory clarity. We've got to get that regulatory clarity. And then we've got to embrace our great U.S. companies, just like we did with the internet, and at least help them compete, right? That's all we're asking for. And we don't quite have that yet. And the digital dollar, I think it's pretty easy, you're right, technically to do it. The question is policy-wise, and then what?
Right.
Is it just to banks, or is it just to wallets, or is it to everybody? You can do a lot of things there.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how far we go there.
Yeah. I think we are out of time. I keep getting a message that we have 1 minute, 2 minutes. Now I think we're under 1 minute. So I think we're done. Chris, thank you. Thank you very much. It was a good talk.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Appreciate
hopefully
it.
I'll see you soon in person.
I hope so.
Hopefully, you guys can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Everything should be good. The mic was muted for a little bit. Can you guys hear me now? Okay. It takes a little while for some reason. It's a little bit of a delay. But boy, that was that was some nuggets right there. Those were some serious nuggets, and he's not holding back. I mean, think about saying the U.S. put us at regulators put us at a disadvantage, the U.S. at a disadvantage, and China at an advantage by giving clarity on BTC and ETH and not other digital assets, because China controls both BTC in terms of mining and ETH in terms of mining. I mean, he didn't hold back. He did not hold back on saying that. That was pretty powerful. Wow. I mean, that was pretty powerful for him to say that. And then again, he didn't hesitate to talk about the world needs a virtual currency that can act as a global currency to bridge all the other currencies. He didn't hesitate to say that either. Really, really interesting. I thought I heard last that 12 people that are on the Ripple net were using XRP. Now, he said 24 using XRP. Because he said it, right? He said using a virtual currency. I didn't know it was 24. I thought I had heard, the last I heard, there was 12. So that's another powerful thing as well. I'm glad you guys suggested watching that, because that was really, really good. What's going on, DC Precise? Good to see you. Really good to see you. I think the thing that's going to probably really start things going with XRP. Gotta be honest with you, and I really do think there's a 60% chance that it'll be news versus utility. I think is the Bank of America thing, because remember, Wall Street will pay attention to that, or an acquisition, depending upon the quality of the acquisition. You know, but depending upon the quality of the acquisition, what's that acquisition going to look like? Who is it going to be? What is it going to be? But I do think that the Bank of America thing, because I don't think Bank of America is, I know that they're not looking to do small things in this space. And I think that what Bank of America is seeing is an opportunity in this new financial system, right? Look, JP Morgan right now, let's just face it. JP Morgan right now in the traditional finance space is the liquidity provider. They are massive in terms of providing liquidity in that system. I think Bank of America is looking to be that one in this new financial system. That's why all the blockchain patents. And I think that's one of the reasons why Ripple is mentioned on that patent with Bank of America. Guys, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel. We are on a race and a push to get the 5,000 subs. Let's make that happen. We want to definitely get that happen by the end of July at the latest. Yeah, Crypto Keeper, that's a great point. I mean, it really, I mean, they were just some, some softballs. He threw some softballs out there, right? Wasn't a whole lot to it. He definitely just threw some softballs. Let me share this. Is it not interesting? This reporter just happens to ask all the right questions and gives Chris the perfect opportunity to tell everyone how things are going to be soon. A perfect set. All softballs. There was no antagonizing. There were no, no negative this, XRP that, or, is it really being used? Or he felt as though these questions were like, Brad and the people at Ripple have all the answers. Let me see what they know. It's a great point, Crypto Keeper. He was just really leaving the floor for Chris to share some stuff. And I got to tell you, those are some powerful statements that Chris said. I'm probably going to do a video on that tomorrow, but those were some powerful statements. He did not hold back. Yep, very intentional, right? Very wow, very interesting. Do me a favor, guys, as well. Tweet this out on Twitter. I don't know if it's too late or not, but interesting thing. Yeah, that's a great point, TJ Jackson, as well. Brad Garlinghouse comfortable enough to start talking about IPOs and potential acquisitions, Pay ID release. I think PolySign is very close to launching as well. Purple Chris says, yeah, I'm going to watch that again. Absolutely. It's a great point, TJ Jackson. And again, very casual. Brad Garlinghouse, very casual and relaxed about it. And also, he said something about flexing muscle, right? Pay ID, listen, it's like the identifier for everybody. So it's like email for everyone. And they're going to obviously, it's going to be able to link to different things. I watched an interview with Blockchain Backer, and he had an interview with one of the co-founders or creators of Unstoppable Domains. And they talked about how Ripple was in a really, really good position to connect everything via the ILP. The Ripple was in a very good position to do that. And PayID and things like unstoppable domains, it's all about, it doesn't matter if you have PayPal, Venmo, BTC, ETH, gold, or silver, clothes. It doesn't matter. Just like Love for Crypto said years ago, everything of value, all things connected, and moving everything of value. That is the goal. That is the goal. And let us not forget that the ILP created by Ripple, gifted to the W3C. They are currently working on it together. Currently working on that together. So, and we get to see this. We get to witness this. We get to witness this. And hopefully one day we also get a chance to take a percentage of our wealth and put it into the company Ripple. Hopefully we get to do that as well. Hopefully we get to do that as well. That is going to be really, really cool. Guys, don't forget about Celsius Network. I'm about to wrap up here. You know, one of our sound saving instruments in our generational wealth formula, which is digital assets plus sound saving instruments multiplied by a cash flow business. Don't forget about the Celsius Network is one of our sound saving instruments. You're in sometime this week. What is today? Thursday. Sometime next week, you'll be able to buy USDC via ACH and a bank card. No fees to purchase it. I don't know of an exchange that allows you to buy USDC stablecoin without charging a fee. As much as I love Binance US, and I love Binance US, Binance US are doing some serious stuff. They're giving you cash back for doing recurring orders on Matic. I mean, that's outstanding. But nowhere, I don't know of an exchange that is for free, no fees to purchase USDC. We all know once we get it, we know what we can do with it. We know we can take it off there. No fees to deposit the USDC, no fees to purchase the USDC, no fees to move it somewhere else. No fees. So we're talking about an opportunity for you to take those fiat dollars that are losing value, purchase USDC, leave it on the platform if you want and earn 6, 7, 8%, up to 11%, depending upon if you own some cell tokens. No fees. None on the Celsius Network platform. If you guys, I'm telling you, if you guys are not on the Celsius Network, look, I get it. I'm not a financial planner. I'm certainly not going to tell you what to do with your money. But you know, this is Generational Wealth Wednesdays. One of the things we talk about is getting your money back. How to get your money back. One of them is to own a home-based business. Don't forget that cash flow business. Don't forget to reach out to CryptoSiege at protonmail.com to see if there's a good fit for you somewhere. But the other part is saving on these fees. I mean, we're in the digital asset space. If we can buy a digital asset and not have to pay any fees, what? You know? Yeah, I don't leave my stuff on Binance XRP. I mean, Binance US, I have a couple things on Binance US, but on Binance.com, which I'm still able to use, I guess I'm grandfathered in or something. I don't leave anything on there. I don't leave stuff on exchanges because I know what they do with it, and they don't give me anything for it. You know, that's why I have 8 or 9 assets on Celsius. 6 to 8 on Celsius. You know, because I know the exchanges are doing. I know God knows what Coinbase is doing with it. It's terrible what they're doing, and if you're leaving it there, you know. But so, again, I believe he said it was coming next week. I think he did an AMA on Monday, and I believe he said next week. He did say next week. I don't know if it was this week is next week or next week is next week, if you understand what I'm saying. So just look for that. If you need a link to the description, a link for Celsius, let me know. I'll leave one for you guys. No fees to buy it. No fees to leave it on the platform. Earn interest on it. I'm telling you guys, if you want to get your mom, your pop, your cousin, your uncles, your dudes, and digital assets, explain to them the concept of you have $100 in the bank. 30 days later, you're going to have $100 or less in the bank. Right? They understand the safe way. That's right, XRP Gal. Binance won't tell you who insures it. The Celsius does. It's a great point. Right. It's a very good point, XRP Gal. Right. So you explain to them that $100, 30 days later is $100. And look, when I have $100 on Celsius, 30 days later, it's not $100. It's 102 cents or 105 cents as an example, right? It's 110 cents. It's not just $100. 30 days later. Here's my email. Deep Mind's in the building. What's up, Deep Mind? 30, I don't know. Everything's risk and reward, right? Everything's risk and reward. We got to measure everything, right? We always tell people start on that platform very, very tiny, couple $100, small. You certainly don't want to I don't put more than 15% of my assets on any platform, except for cold storage, right? So you certainly want to start small, but just think about that. Think about that little single kind of thing. $100. A week later, you have more than $100. The following week on Celsius, you have a little bit more than $100. The following week on Celsius, you have another, just a little bit more than $100. You can take it off and put it on. No one has control over that money. You can't say that. You can't say that about the traditional banking system. You just can't say I can get my money whenever I want if it's in the bank. You can't look yourself in the mirror and say that. And be honest with yourself. You know? It's just, again, if you want to have a way to convince your boys to get into the space, they email you every week that they deposit interest. You can say, look, I put $200 in here. A week later, I got $200 in this. And 2 weeks after that, I got $200 plus this. My $200 is in the bank right now is still $200. You know, and kind of explain to them that, you know, USDC or DT is, you know, a digital firm. You know, everybody's hearing digital dollar now. They might have even heard about it. You can just tell them, you know, we call it stable coins, but it's basically like a digital dollar. It's backed by the dollar. And then maybe show them, look, deposit it, put it on there real quick. Remember, no fees to take it on and put it off. So you can put it on there and take it off and show them, look, I put it on, I took it off, put it on, I took it off. They ain't charged me any fees. I get it. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but I think that people are comfortable with the app, right? Here's the app. Here's the app. Here's the app. Here's not the app. Here's the app. Here's the app. You know, show them someplace simple to withdraw it to. You know, maybe the Exodus wallet. I don't know, but show them, you know, something simple they can withdraw it to and send it over to. I don't know if Exodus wallet has USDC or not. I don't know, but show them something simple. You know, right? What's going on, Deep Mind? Good to see you, brother. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you being here. So, again, guys, that was for me. That was big news. Right now, I don't get the whole Tether Gold thing. You know, I got to be honest with you. I don't get the whole Tether Gold thing. I don't know. I guess I'm still a little leery of Tether. He does not seem to be leery of it at all. He says he loves Tether. So I guess every man, you know, I don't know. No one's perfect. But yeah, this whole Tether Gold thing, you know, you can earn gold on your gold, you know. So I don't know. I guess you guys have to play with that and kind of see if that's a good fit or not. But certainly, you know, for me, those other digital assets, you can earn you can earn interest on those. That's a good deal. You know, that is a good deal. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. I put my email in there. If you want to learn how to get your money back, or you want to learn a great way to get your money back in a cash flow business, you can do that. Just turn you on to what I'm doing, see if it's a good fit. If it's not, it's not. If it is, and you're like, look, you know, great, this is a great way. I'll take the 400 plus write-offs versus 8 as being an employee. Cool. If not, we're always going to be cool. We are always going to be cool. All right, guys, that is it for tonight. I got to wrap up here. I got to get over and figure out what we're gonna do for Mrs. Crypto Siege's birthday. XRP Gal, that's right. iTrust Capital now offers gold as well. Yes, they do. Yeah, and I would move forward more so with gold there than I think anything else. I don't know how it works. If you buy through there, do you have to keep it there? I like earning gold on my gold, though. I like earning gold on my gold. It's a pretty cool deal. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, listen, thanks so much for hanging out. It's been a really cool game. I'm hanging out here out in nature. It's a pretty cool deal. Thanks so much for hanging. And we will see you guys really, really soon. Talk to you soon, guys. Have a great night.